to TTTV. You know what day it is? It's a Friday, everyone's favourite day of the week, and it's also everyone's favourite day of the week to watch the TTFL, which is live and streaming well. We are going to be racing tonight around one of the iconic tracks of the F1 calendar, around Suzuka in Japan. Now, before going through the history of Suzuka, we're going to go through, respectively, the drivers and the constructors' standings as of round 16 of last week in Russia. If you haven't seen the Russia Grand Prix, please feel free to watch back on the channel and watch it through. It's been an absolutely amazing race last week. I ain't going to say anything more to disrupt it or ruin it for you, so please feel free to watch back. It was a cracker race, as I put that as that's it. So going through the drivers' standings then, starting off with Hamilton up on top with 213 points, with Spike in second with 143 points, Siege in third with 131 points, Legor in fourth with 125, Lambo in fifth with 121, Spaghetti in 6th with 75, Poe in 7th with 73 points, Maze in 8th with 59 points, Ollie P in 9th with 52 points, Darren Sinclair, also say TTG Sinclair, is in 10th with 51 points, Plaster in 11th with 49 points, SJ Manor in 12th with 37, Struth in 13th with 33 points, Alan K in 14th with 29 points, Squeezy in 15th with 25 points, Damon B in 16th with 24 points, Maximus in 17th with 22 points, Zenki in 18th there with 12 points, Neon Rapid in 19th with 10 points, and Sean FC, well, MUFC is in 20th there with 4 points. So that is the driver's standings there. For the constructors, Red Bull there still maintain at top there with 265 points, with the McLarens in second with 254, Renault in third with 204 points, Mercedes are 4th with 175 points, Force India are in 5th with 159 points, Sauber are in 6th with 143 points, Ferrari are 7th with 107 points, the Haas are in 8th with 102 points, Toro Rosso in 9th with 86 points, and the Williams are in 10th there with 63 points. So that is your drivers and the constructors there as of round 16. So then, back to our main event tonight then, with Suzuka. The only track on the F1 calendar which is a figure of 8 circuit layout. It is a home of Honda's testing ground, and especially for the McLarens, as they were powered by Honda, it's effectively the engine supplier's home race. So the McLarens have got a lot of expectations to live up tonight, especially around the track around Suzuka. Also, Suzuka is a driver's track. It's very old school, pushing the boundary limits as much as you possibly can, but go one step out too far, you can lose a bit of time, and you can also put yourself out in the race or any situations going on, or even lose places in time. So around the layout then, we have some iconic corners which everyone loves and adore, and it all flows into one. Obviously sector 1, you got the first 2 corners, very quick and fast, they come right at you, and then you obviously got the S's, you got the famous Dominic curve, you got Degner 1s and Degner 2s, a hairpin, spoon, and 130R. But Suzuka, originally being near the end of the season on the F1 calendar, used to be the old place where the World Drivers' Championship is usually being decided, and many of the years, some have been majorly successful, and some of them are a bit controversial. The controversial ones will be, i.e. back in the late 89 and 1990s, against 2 big world champions, Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna. 89 was where Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna came together just at the hairpin chicane. Not the hairpin chicane at the last sector of the track, just after 130R. Obviously, Alain Prost there retired, while Senna just got pushed on by Marshall going through the escape road, and went on to win a race until he got disqualified and lost his title, which then handed Alain Prost the title in his favour, as he was the next one in line to take the title. But then in 1990, it came with another controversial moment where Senna wasn't happy with the grid position, especially for pole in one place, and they changed it around. And obviously went down into turn one, which the title was decided from there when Senna took out Alan Prost. But Suzuka also had a bit of its dark days as well. Ideally back in 2014, when it was a very torrential downpour Japanese Grand Prix, with the everyone there struggling to keep the car on track. Obviously Jules Bianchi, he was just minding his own business around the back, just plodding on through after through the S's, heading through Dunlop curve, where there was already at the point of one of the cars off track due to aquaplaning, went in the barrier, and where a JCB digger or forklift was lifting out a car. Jules Bianchi lost control of the car, aquaplaned, and obviously went into the back of the JCB, which he survived at that point, but a year later, unfortunately, due to the medical conditions he had, he lost his life in battle. So around Dunlop curve, pretty much in real life, they have like a little plaque and everything there to memorize Jules Bianchi there. So Forza Jules in the hashtags there. So today though, got all 11 drivers up there ready and firing up to take on this amazing track. Pretty much the track layout itself is situated right next to a fairground, which you can see on the main straight, so all actions and galore, and obviously entertainment. So, but to be honest, in my eyes, I love Japan though. It just flows. It seems to get yourself going on the track. It just, everything hits into place, and it just flows. If you've got a really good car set up around here, you'll be absolutely flying, and you'll be loving it with smiles. Now, one person's already told me that Japan is also his favourite track, and he'll be looking for points, so keep an eye on for this man who we're going to be highlighting round about now, which is Alan Kay. He's told me already that he loves Japan, and he's eager to get some good decent points around it, so keep an eye on him in good in certain positions. If he gets a good amount of points, he'll be absolutely smiling. Obviously at the moment, Hamilton, they're leading the table. He'll be looking to extend his gap. Now obviously looking at the gap, if I can just quickly get it up on my phone and see what the gap points is to everything else. Obviously Hamilton is like 213 to his next rival, which is Spike with 143. So with Spike not in, and obviously in the next few, like 4 races coming up, Hamilton can pretty much have his title wrapped up at the American Grand Prix. Rumour has it. But if you quote me wrong, do say, and I will remember it for next week. But I'm pretty sure that Hamilton's got his title wrapped up if all goes smoothly at Circuit of the Americas. So then, 11 drivers racing tonight then. So, and I'm not going to hit the button because I don't want to cancel that spectator mode as I did yesterday. But I haven't done it today, so it's all happy days. Now we're heading into qualifying then for the Japanese Grand Prix. 18 glorious minutes around this amazing 8-figure circuit. Just making sure I do not get done for copyright infringements. Just waiting for it all to go through. Today will be nice loading screen. Today will be nice. I just now waiting for the drivers there all to sync up. And there we go. eventually we'll get there in a minute. The longest loading period I had since starting, so... So then, 18 minutes of qualifying is a go, and we have a bit of overcast conditions. So obviously track conditions will be a little bit cooler, which would be ideally for softer compounds in one way, but also helps durability in the long run, but also will benefit the harder sides as it doesn't take much to get themselves going and get decent amount of pace. So got 3 sets of tyre compounds today. Then we have the super softs and the mediums for today, and we have the first car out on track, which is a Red Bull. Now the question is that Hamilton or C3 heading out to the pits? It is one of them two, and it's a current world leading world champion so far at the moment. It is Hamilton out on track first, which is unusual for Hamilton because he normally waits till at least a little bit later to go out on track, but maybe they all seen something that I do not know in terms of weather, so it'll be interesting to see. So obviously Hamilton will be my guinea pig track guide around Suzuka, but there are other drivers out there as well in the likes of Struth, Sinclair and Spaghetti, all out there as well. So whilst a few of them have remained in the pits for now, a couple of drivers have selected the medium tyres to start off with, which is C3 and Sinclair, so, and also Rapid as well. So some of them opted to go for a bit of the harder compound. You know, nothing wrong with that. You know, it can benefit you if you've got the right strategy call for it. So, and there we go. Hamilton there getting himself nicely prepped up for his flying lap in a minute. So, and we will go on board with him now. So, Hamilton starts his flying lap just about now, heading down with the DRS, the only DRS zone on the track, as there's only one DRS zone, heading down into turn 1 at over 200 miles an hour. Crucial to get it right in into quick turn 2, comes right out off the turn 1 there. Again, beautifully controlled here. Now going through the S's, crucial here to get your line right on every single one, because you can gain time, you can also lose time on the mistake. But Hamilton there, keeping his car under control here, now heading up towards Dunlop Curve. Again, crucial here to get it spot on here, and Hamilton there does that, so good job there so far, heading through Degner 1 and now into Degner 2. Again, it goes a little bit wide on Degner 2, but gets away with it. He can still carry on the momentum. Now heading up towards the hairpin here. Again, the very slowest part on the track here. Hamilton there keeping nice and tight there, get the traction there, spot on there. Bit of wheel spin, but he gets away with it. Now heading down towards Spoon Corner. Again, it is very crucial here. It's a medium speed corner, and nearly goes off right there, but keeps it under control there for Hamilton there. Now heading down the main back straight there, which you come across over the track this time round. Heading down towards the famous 130R here, easily flat out corner here, and Hamilton does that, nicely done. Now heading out towards the head chicane here. Again, quick flick right and quick flick left. Again, nicely under control here, crucial on the bumps there, and Hamilton then comes over the line then, and it's a 127.3 there, so it's 127.3 there for Hamilton, which is the benchmark there so far. Meanwhile though, there was a car off track at that point where I was looking through Hamilton there, but kept out of the way, and Struth there goes into P2 there with a 128.2 then, so Struth there lining a temporary P2 there for the time being. Spaghetti out there on the flying lap, so it's Rapid. Where is Sinclair? Whereabouts is he? Down there, obviously then starting off flying lap as well, so 82 times on the board so far. And there are other drivers also out there on track as well. Only few remain in the pits. Meanwhile, there is a yellow flag in sector 2, which now happily disappears, so that's the main thing. No one has not retired, so that's a good thing as well. Everyone there going all hell for leather, they're trying to go quick as they possibly can. Meanwhile, though, switching on to Leon Rapid, also say TTG Rapid, as he's recently joined the TTG Esports team. So congratulations there for Rapid there joining the squad. And he goes P3 with a 130.026 there. So still a bit of time there, obviously the game, but obviously Rapid there on the mediums. So that's not a bad lap time in representative terms for the mediums then. So be interesting to see what his actual pace is if he went on the softer compound, but he'd be happily joyful of that with 130.0 on the mediums there. Meanwhile, Darren Sinclair going around the last couple of corners then. Where will this put Darren then coming up towards the line? And he goes into P3 with a 128.7 there, so great lap there from Darren then. Get himself up to P3 and only half a second off his teammate who was on the softer compound, so well, the softest of the compounds going. So Darren there showing potential pace and potential pole position threat. So Hamilton there will be a bit eerie and watching Darren's progress there. C3 out there then, he's also on the set of mediums. Keep an eye on him, see what lap times he'll do. But I think he's the only current one up there at the moment on the terms of flyer. So, and C3 there goes off a bit wide there. Not what he wants on the exit speed. Now can cost him time here dearly. There is a yellow flag up ahead and there's a slow car to the left. That is the Mercedes of Rapid there. Keeping out of the way there from 130 yard. Good call there from Rapid. So C3 then come through the last couple of corners then. Okay, back in wants to go away. Ooh, nearly lost it when he goes in the pits and grazes the wall there. C3 then not having a good time of lap around there, around the track so far. So, and yet to set lap time. Still got 10 minutes left in of the session so far. And Hampton still temporarily leads the way so far provisionally at the moment. And Struth is in P2 with Darren Sinclair, or as I say TTG Sinclair in P3 and Rapid in P4. No one else is coming out there on a lap at the moment, so the track is quiet. Meanwhile though, Spaghetti's just coming out of the pits on a set of subs. Meanwhile though, Maximuson coming round to start his flying lap, and we'll also go on board with him. So Maximus then racing for Force India starts his flying lap about now, heading down to the old famous turn 1. Again, crucial to get this entry here right and ready for turn 2, and he goes off wide there for heading into turn 2. That will dent his confidence already for the S's, because the one mistake around sector 1 is complete time loss and you aren't able to gain it back in the next 2 sectors. Again, Maximus doesn't look very confident in this, particularly in the first sector here. Looks like his car just wants to understeer a bit more, but he's still pushing on despite it though. Yeah, and go through Degner 1 there, and obviously into Degner 2. But Maximus is still pushing on. Heading up towards the opening. Oh, he goes up far on the grass and heading towards the gravel, heading towards the wall. Now, has he got front wing damage? Has Maximus got front wing damage? If he got away with no front wing damage, he's a very lucky man. But yeah, he has got front wing damage there. So Maximus there not having a good flyer there, especially on a set of super subs there. That is going to cost him a little bit of time and the possibility of a good set of tyres wasted there. So he's still got time though to get himself going. And I think he's just retiring his car as well. But meanwhile though, Spaghetti then coming up there on his flying lap, his first flying lap, and on the set of softs, and heading up towards the Degners. Degner 1 now goes up a little bit wide on Degner 1. Degner 2 though keeps it under control. Lucky not to invalidate his lap time going wide at Degner 1, heading up towards the hairpin there. Meanwhile though, Hamilton goes to 127.1 as his fastest lap. So Hamilton's still finding more pace up there. But meanwhile though, Spaghetti though supporting McLaren powered by Honda, so he'll be hoping to do well for the Japanese. The back end goes a bit crazy on the end of Spoon though, but kept it under control. Still putting the hammer down, heading up towards the 130R. Easy flat out here. Keeping in 7th gear right up to 130R. That might cost him a little bit of time, but going through the chicane now. Again, very nice and stable here. Watch out for the bumps on the exit, which he does. Keeping very tight to the right. And it puts himself up into PT with a 128.0. So good lap time there for Spaghetti, like getting him up into PT on a set of softs. Meanwhile though, there are still plenty of few drivers out there that is not set lap time. Yet, you know, still loads of time left in the session to do so. But I think they're all starting to think out what tyre strategy they're going to start on with. Some of them are now selected softs, and some are remaining on super softs, so you can probably get one stuff out of them on the if you start on the softs into mediums or mediums into softs. But with super softs, you'll be hoping to get a good start and pull away as quick as much as you can and get a gap build up so you got pit stop cover. But easy said than done, especially when I track around Japan where it's very fast flowing corners can have an impact on your tyres and also tyre temps as well. So still on board with C3. Heading around Spoon. Again, looking very stable this time round for C3, so much better improving on the lap, and he goes off wide again in that same spot. So C3, they're going off wide at the same spot he did on the first time round. And touching the grass on the main straight, that's going to cost him a bit loss in speed there as well. So C3 exploring the limits of the track as much as he can within the confines of keeping the car on track as well. But what's the lap time going to be for C3? And here's a P4 there with a 128.740 on that one. So puts himself up into P4. So not a bad lap time there from C3. Sage is also out there. He's into P6 with a 128.773. So P4, P5, P6 are very tightly close together on that one. So not much in difference in pace wise. Meanwhile though, Rapid there in P7. More likely out there on the floor at the moment. Keep an eye on him, see what he can do. Coming around the last couple of corners now, what's it going to be like for Rapid? And it's a 129.6 there for Rapid, so he's improving his lap time, but still remains in P7. Still got a few minutes left yet to improve out there as well. Maximus is also out there, starting off a flyer as well with his new front wing. Meanwhile though, Plaster there comes over the line in P8 with a 131.1. Not a bad lap time there for Plaster. Maze and SJ Meadows also in the pits. Alan Kay is also out there as well. He's out there on the set mediums. So Alan thinks he can get into obviously into the top 10 there with a set of mediums. He'll be looking to do well there. Meanwhile though, Plaster has opted to retire his car, thinking that is the best he can do. Meanwhile though, Strip is also out there as well, potential pole threat. He's out there on a set of softs. Hamilton meanwhile remains in the pit lane, as is Spaghetti as well. Although they're probably just waiting for the right time to go out on track. Meanwhile though, the lovely yellow flags are still appearing in Sector 2. Generally for drivers just getting out of the way of the fast car behind them. Meanwhile though, keep an eye on Darren as well, because he's also potential to get P1 here as well. Rapid here is also retired, so maybe the best lap time he can do is that today. Maze has also opted to retire and not set lap time. Meanwhile though, Alan here coming across the line, and there's a P9 for Alan with a 131.5 then. So the Ferraris at the moment lying in 8th and 9th respectfully then. SJ Miller, they're still in the pits at the moment. Maximus just gone into the pits as well. Opted to not set lap time. Meanwhile, Darren on a charge on his flyer on a set of softs. He'll be pushing his Sauber to its almighty limits around this track. And he's chucking it in into spin corner, and again handling it very well. Goes a little bit wide there on the exit, but just gets away with it. Heading up towards 130R. Again, very nice and stable there for Darren, heading through the chicane. Brings the car nicely under control here. Quick flick right and then left. Now through the exit here. Careful of the bump. Keeping him very right here. And it's a P2 there for Darren then, with a 127.5. So he's only just 4 tenths off Hamilton then. And I think that will probably be his lap time now, unless he's cooling it down quickly to do one more run, which is up to Darren there. And SJ Miller there is also retired there in the back of the grid. So Mays and SJ Miller there retired in P11 and P12. So everyone in the top 10 then. For those who set a lap time, we'll be starting on the tyres they've done the best lap times on. Obviously Maximus there will get free choice as he hasn't started out on a race tyre he's had his lap time yet, but I think he's just come out of the pits as we speak, so keep an eye on Maximus there. And obviously Hamilton, Spaghetti, Struth. Meanwhile though, Maximus there goes off wide around the S's there on his out lap, and that is going to not do him any confidence, any good whatsoever. Although his tyres will be warmed up, but it'll be a bit dirty. So hopefully he hasn't cost himself too much time in terms of prepping for his flying run. Again, going off wide at Dunlop there, touching the grass. Maximus has just got to control and calm himself down and get himself ready for this qualifying run, which he's going to need to be fully 100% focused on. But yeah, no, Hamilton though is also out on track along with Spaghetti, Struth, C3, C3's in the pit, sorry, and Siege as well. So all got to be keep an eye out in particular for pole position. Meanwhile though, there is a yellow flag in sector 3. So Spaghetti then going off to start his qualifying then. His flying lap for pole. So obviously keep an eye on Spaghetti because he'll be the first one out over the line out of him and Hamilton. Hamilton then starts his flying lap now. So obviously Spaghetti and Hamilton so far out there on the lap. Struth is also now out on the lap, and I think that's also Maximus as well. So Spaghetti then will be the first man to be setting a lap time in the threat to go for pole. Darren then obviously finishes up in P2. And the cable decides to end on qualifying there with P8 there, and that's Maximus second off widening around S's there, and again he's damaged his wing, this time at the S's. So Maximus there is not having a great qualifying there, and he's now decided to retire there. So Maximus there is not looking forward to going into the race then with not setting a lap time, and the confidence he's having is not going to be good. So Maximus then has got to think very carefully now in the race, not to push his car over its limits. Siege meanwhile has retired in P6, but keep an eye on Spaghetti then. Hamilton has opted to retire the car, all down to Spaghetti then to set a lap time. See if he can take Hamilton off his top perch. What's the lap time going to be for Spaghetti coming over the line? And it's a P1 there for Spaghetti there with a 1:27.021. So Spaghetti then takes provisional P1 then. But the question is, where is Struth in all of this? He's coming around the last sector now, around the chicane. Can he take P1 off Spaghetti? See what he can do. Coming around the last curve now, heading up towards the line. Is it P1? Is it P1 there for Struth? No, it's P4. So Spaghetti then takes P1 off Hamilton then. Hamilton will just have to settle for P2. So then Spaghetti then pulling the lap out the bag there to take P1 of Hamilton then. So Spaghetti then takes P1 with Hamilton starting alongside him in P2. Darren Sinclair in P3 then with Struth next side him in P4. So Salvador dominating the second row of the grid. C3 then in P5 with Siege next to him in P6. Rapid in P7. He'll be joined with Adam K in P8. Plaster in P9. Maximus there in P10. Not sad lap time. along with Siege and P11 not set a lap time, and SJ Mellon as well not setting a lap time. So that is your grid heading in for the Japanese Grand Prix. So then, hope you got any of your predictions ready for whoever's going to win the race today. And looking at it, the weather around Suzuka is nice and dry and sunny. So a bit more favourable conditions for the race then. So obviously track temperatures will be slightly different to what it was in qualifying then. But obviously with the cooler conditions it'll be more easy on the tyres. So it should be able to last at least a couple of laps longer, depending how aggressive they'll be in the race, but that's down to each driver's respectively to do so. So then, if you got any predictions who you're going to win today, feel free to put in the comments below. If not, just sit back and relax and enjoy. So then, going through the formation lap then. So Spaghetti then leads the pack then off the grid. He'll be looking to have a good decent charge down into turn 1. You just had to focus on the start to get a good gap away on Hamilton, who's starting alongside him in P2 then. Hamilton thought he had it in the bag for P1, just lost that to Spaghetti there on his lap out of the bag there, so Hamilton hasn't got out and do too much, but I'm sure he will challenge Spaghetti down into turn 1 there. So Sinclair then in P3, he's got his teammate behind him in P4 as well, so Sauber's there locking up the second row of the grid. They'll be looking for some good amount of points here today for them, so keep an eye on the Sauber pairs. C3 they win P5 as well. He'll be eyeing up for potential P3, as long as keeps his nose out of trouble and clean. But he has got a bit of a challenging threat behind him. He has got Siege in P6 and Rapid in P7, so he's got the two Mercedes ready to charge at him if the mistakes happen up in front as well. The Ferraris in the back in P8 and P9. They'll be looking for a good set of points around here today. So keep an eye on the Ferrari pairs. They'll be looking for a good amount of points here. Maximus in P10. Again, he'll be another one to keep an eye out for. He's not had the best qualifying so far of this today, but he'll need to get some good decent amount of points and keep his car pointing in the right direction. So Max was there, setting a bit of a setback there in form of qualifying, but hopefully to make it up in the race today. Mason and P11 not opted to do qualifying like his HJ Meta as well. Again, though, they'll be eyeing to get a good amount of points, providing the accidents over the head in the cars in front. So that is your top 12 then. Obviously anyone in the top 10 will have to qualify on the tyres to set on, apart from the ones that did not set a lap time on the best set of tyres. But none of them's opted to go for mediums though, so it's the softs and super softs for now. They're saving the mediums to later on. So then, as all the drivers are getting into their grid spots, getting ready for the Japanese Grand Prix. There we go, get the right camera angles. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights down, away we go. What is a starts like around Japan then? All getting off nice and clean here so far. And that is Struth Dave making a great start here. And he's challenging Hamilton into turn 1 here. And Hamilton then loses out to Struth then. And Struth then takes P2 off Hamilton straight away. So good start there from Struth. And there's already position changes across the field there. And obviously there's an accident in the background there. And that is Plaster there. So Plaster getting caught up, and also Allen as well. So obviously Plaza and Allen there, don't know if they both got tangled up or got collected by another car, but the Ferraris there not having a good start so far. But meanwhile though, everyone else gets away nice and clean. Spaghetti then flying away from the pack as much as he can. He has now got Struth behind him instead of Hamilton. Hamilton there just had to slot into P3. Down there goes down into P4 at the moment, so maybe just buying us time. Meanwhile though, there is an overtake going on, and it's C3 versus Rapid around the hairpin then, and C3 then keeps P5, although the Mercedes boys are now dueling out between each other. So Rapid now coming under threat by his teammate of Siege, although Rapid now on the back of C3 more likely this time round. So C3 then starting to feel the threat already from the Mercedes boys, ready to pounce and attack on him. Although the Mercedes boys have got to be careful of SJ Miller behind him as well. SJ Miller then making up good places as well from the start. And they go side by side in 130. They're Rapid and C3. Kept it clean though, great control from leading the two. And Rapid there goes into P5 then, with C3 still hanging around the outside. Rapid then nearly lost the back end, but kept it in check, and C3 then down into P6. He's now under threat by Siege, and also SJ Miller as well. There's going to be free wide down the main straight. Make sure they're not free wide into turn 1, because it's very dangerous around there, especially around turn 1. And SJ Miller then making a dive down on Siege. SJ Miller then having a great move, and C3 then losing it out in turn 2, and SJ Miller then goes out the outside of turn 3 at the start of the S's there. So SJ Miller on the flyer here from the back of the grid, getting up from P12 up to P6 in the space of 2 laps there. So SJ Miller on the flyer. He'd done this before last week, and C3 then nearly lose control of his car there, and he's still on the grass as well, and he's dropping back more places here. So C3 having a torrid time so far in the first 2 opening laps. He's now going to be under threat by Maze and also Maximus as well. So C3 then not having a good start so far to the Japanese Grand Prix. Again though, it is still early doors though. Still plenty of time to gain back time you lose. Meanwhile though, turning the tensions up to the front a little bit. Struth and Hamilton. Hamilton now close on the back of Struth. He's going for the move. Can he get the move done by 130R? Still side by side. And it looks like Hamilton's got the move covered just before 130R. Yes, he has. So Hamilton then retakes back his P2 spot from Struth. So Struth then just had to settle down to P3. He has got Darren behind him in P4 as well. So hopefully he doesn't battle his teammate too much. But meanwhile though, Spaghetti then sets the fastest lap at 131.7 in, although Struth is now coming back on him. DRS is now enabled at the end of this lap, so Struth then going for the move again, round turn 2, inside of Hamilton. Can he make it stick? He does, but goes off wide. Hamilton then comes back at him for getting through turn 3 of the S's. No, Hamilton then has to settle back, so Struth then takes P2 again off Hamilton, although Hamilton now under threat by Sinclair. Sinclair then will be looking to get through Hamilton, so Hamilton then just in a little bit of a battle we didn't want to be in between the Sauber sandwich. He's looking for the move down to Degnus. They're all very close there and they both made contact, but again, luckily not to spin each other off there. So very lucky there around the Degnus. Not the ideal overtake there from Hamilton. They're a bit rushed, but again, luckily not to make any wing damage or spin off whatsoever. Whilst this is all squabbling off, this is helping Spaghetti then pulling away already. 4-second gap already to P2. Hamilton though attacking Struth before spin curve, and he gets the move done this time round though around Spoon. So Hamilton then up into P2, Struth down into P3. Yes, now got Sinclair right behind him in P4. Hopefully the Sauber boys don't trip over each other. I think Struth there has just let his teammate go through, thinking he's a quicker car and not to cause any loss of points between the Saubers. So Struth then settling into P4, then letting Darren go for the take on Hamilton. And meanwhile though, Rapid then starting to charge down on this pair coming up as well, so Rapid is on the charge. Meanwhile though, C's then going for the move on SJ Miller, heading down towards turn 1. Can he make it stick? He's got DRS to help him out, which he has, and Siege then makes his move up to P6. Then SJ Miller now sets back into P7, but he's not giving up though. He is on the back of Siege, although he is in a section of the track where there's no overtaking opportunities at the moment. So SJ Miller now has just got by this time, wait for the right movement and wait for the right part of the track to gain an overtake. Although he does look very quick though, and he's not letting Siege break away from him whatsoever. But he's coming up to an overtaking spot right now in the hairpin. Like, what is he going to do? He's just got to set back and wait for it for now. But the more the squabble, more C3 is watching behind as well. So C3 that will be watching this battle very carefully, knowing that if one of them makes a mistake or makes a rash move, then P6 and P7 is up for grabs. But at the moment though, SJ Miller though lining up move on Siege. following in 130R. Can he make a move after 130R? Looking through 130R at the moment. Eyeing up to see what he can do. Just a little bit too far back, and he locks up into the head, into the chicane there. That will lose him a bit of time, but he will get DRS, although C3 will get DRS behind him as well. So SJ Miller then just a little bit hot-headed going into lap 4, lap 5. Meanwhile, there is the yellow flag in sector 3, and is that Maximus there? Where's Maximus? Maximus has lost it down the main pit straight then. So Maximus then lost control of his car then on the exit of the last curve of the main straight there, and it's damaged his wing, and now he has to do a full lap to get his front wing change. And meanwhile, that has brought up the virtual safety car then. So the virtual safety car is out on track then. And obviously that will neutralise the race and everyone around, so everyone maintains position, but that had to be set to a delta time, which is about 40 to 60% slower than the actual race pace. If they go over the exceeding delta point, and by the time that the VSC is ended, they will guarantee a penalty then for exceeding the speeding time penalty. So virtual safety car is ended now, and it's straight back up into full race, green flag as it is. So then Hamilton now starting to close up the gap on Spaghetti then. With Spaghetti, I did have a gap of 4 seconds, but that's come down to 2.8 then. So meanwhile though, Rapid is starting to chase down Struth, and also Siege and SJ Miller are also following in hot pursuit as well. But SJ Miller then still looking to find a way past Siege. Siege is not letting him have the better of him whatsoever, although they both got DRS, although SJ Miller will have slipstream as well to benefit him, but just a little bit too far back though to launch an overtake, and just has to settle behind Siege once again until he gets to the point of a suitable place to go for an attack or an overtake. But they're both on the same set of compound though, so same set of durability and length of tyre wear. So meanwhile though, Maximus is into the pits, and that will be his change of front wing. So going around the whole lap with a damaged front wing, and Maximus there is opted to retire then. So Maximus then is decided to retire from the race. That's unfortunate for Maximus. Didn't have the best of qualifying. Think he will do well in the race to regain some confidence, and unfortunately that's just gone out the window for him, which is very unfortunate for him. Meanwhile though, the two Mercedes boys are now closing up to one another, although Rapid is now on the back of Struth. Yes, although Rapid has got his teammate behind him. So if one starts to become a little bit slower, opposite team orders will come in effect unless they're happy to duel out between them. It is up to them entirely. Darren Sinclair though goes 1:31.5 as the fastest lap, and Struth then goes very tight on the inside there, and Rapid then with DRS he's going to go around the outside of turn 1. Side by side is going to be very tight there. Struth then still hangs on to P1. Rapid then with a switch back around turn 2. Can he make a stick? Yes he does. And Rapid then puts himself up onto P4 with an amazing overtaking class there on Struth then. So Rapid then up into P4. He's now got closed down the gap there to Darren then, who's in P3. Meanwhile though, Struth loses out on more positions to Siege, and Siege make the overtake around the S's there. So the Mercedes boys working in great tandem there, and now to break away as much as they can from SJ Miller, who's also on the charge. So Struth then starting to look like he's starting to suffer a little bit on his super softs, and the softs are starting to work in more favours. At the moment though, Darren Sinclair though closing in on Hamilton and not far behind him. Again, not close enough though to engage an attack. Meanwhile though, the Mercedes boys are getting very, very close here, and they're going side by side then. I think there may be just a switch of position here, so Siege and Rapid then decided to exchange positions then. So Siege then gets released and go for a charge up the field as much as he can with Rapid in hot pursuit. Meanwhile though, Spaghetti then, first of the front runners, into the pits then. So Spaghetti then is making his first pit stop and picks up a 5-second stop go in the meantime. Also Stroop is also in the pit lane as well, and it picks up the same as well in penalty wise. And Spaghetti then is into the pits, and he goes for a set of mediums and aiming to go through to the end of the race then. Hamilton then will take effective P1 for now. Stroop is also on a set of mediums. Plaster then goes up into P8 then. Mays is also in the pit lane as well, and going on a set of soft tyres then. So Mays then maybe opting to go for a 2-stopper then. We'll keep an eye on him. Meanwhile though, Spaghetti and C3 banning out, and obviously Spaghetti then up into P6, Plaster in P7. And C3 has made a mistake then, and he's obviously gone off well wide there, and he's picking up a 10-second stop go there, so I don't know what's happened to C3. Maybe he got collected or accidentally touched the car there, and obviously whipping in the gravel, and he's got a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits then. So C3 having a torrid moment there, and he's put down in deadstone last then. So he'll be praying for anything like a safety car now, just to bunch up the field and try and go for an attack. Meanwhile though, battle for the race lead so far between Darren Sinclair and Hamilton then. Hamilton in P1 and Darren in P2. Hamilton then peels off to the pits, which then now Darren will take effective race lead then. Hamilton then very locked up here. Now it's crucial here for Hamilton then, because he was chasing down Spaghetti, and at the moment Spaghetti then is currently around the last chicane then. And Hamilton then comes out into the box. Spaghetti then should come into the view of the picture now. There he is, coming around the view. It's going to be very, very close here. So obviously Hamilton then coming up towards the end on the line, and there he is. And obviously Spaghetti then still maintains ahead of Hamilton then. So Spaghetti then making the first call on the pit stops and gets in front of Hamilton then. So Spaghetti then got his tyres warm up. Hamilton will just have to work and get his tyres warm up to reasonable temperature as quickly as he can. Meanwhile though, Plaster there in the pits, going on a set of mediums. That was taking him to the end of the race very comfortably. So Ferraris are still looking good for points then. But Darren then still out on set of softs. Eager to get some good points there for Sauber. Meanwhile they battle for P3, P4 and P5. Well, I should say P2, P3, P4, involving 2 Mercedes and a Williams. So Siege then obviously originally made the overtake on his teammate, also change of position. Meanwhile though, there is a yellow flag again in sector 1, and that is C3 again. What is happening with C3? That's the same spot, different lap. C3 is having a very toy time at the back. Meanwhile though, Darren Sinclair extending this gap at the front with the fastest lap of 131.5. Siege is under threat by his teammate. Don't think no team orders will be involved in this time round. And the Mercedes are dueling it side by side. Can they get the move done by turn 1? SJ Miller going for the move as well. Very close there between Siege and SJ Miller there. Side by side there, no minimal contact, but both get through very cleanly there. So SJ Miller then splits the 2 Mercedes up then. So SJ Miller then P3, Siege down into P4. So the Mercedes boys are going for all fun and games here, but obviously hard racing between each other. And SJ Miller then with an amazing start so far, getting himself up into P3. Yet bear in mind, the top 4 have not made a pit stop yet. So at the moment they're just scrubbing it out for a good decent amount of points. Meanwhile though, Alan Kate is into the pits, and he is going on to a set of softs, although he was on the set of mediums to start off with, which I'm quite surprised about. I thought he would take the mediums to a little bit more longer laps, but maybe just opted to go for a different course of strategy then. So still in the points though, Alan, so keep an eye on Alan though, see what he can do. Meanwhile though, returning our eyes towards the front then, especially in P2, SJ Miller lining up and move on rapid. Oh, and that's Siege then making contact with SJ Miller there, and SJ Miller then loses the back end there, but luckily kept it out of the barriers, which is the crucial thing there, which is very unfortunate for SJ Miller. I bet that was a heart and mouth moment there for SJ Miller there, literally getting contact there, maybe just a case of netcode, but luckily not to lose it completely at over 200 miles an hour into the wall. But S3 now comes into the pits anyway, and picks up 5-second stock going in the meantime for it as well, and opted to retire from the race. So that's very unfortunate for S3. I don't know why he's retired from the race, but he can still go for points. But that's the second retirement of the day then. So Darren still leads in P1 then, with Siege in P2, with Spaghetti in P3, Hampton P4, Struth in P5, Rapid P6, Maze in 7th, Plaster will be P8, Allen will be P9, and C3 will be into the points in P10 then. So 10 races left, all guaranteed points now. Unless they retire, then they will lose their points completely. We're just starting to go into a little bit of the low period. Obviously, nearest case of gaps between people going for attempt to overtake then will be Hamilton and Spaghetti. But first 11 laps though has been full of actions, and obviously the track conditions are still reasonably good favour in clear skies throughout, so chance of rain then is very little or none at all. Meanwhile though, Darren Sinclair there is into the pits then. Siege is now taking P1 then. Hampton, so obviously then Siege then goes through, Spaghetti to P2, Sinclair goes down into P3, and he just gets out ahead of Hamilton then. So Darren then going longer on his soft stint then, has just got himself out ahead of Hamilton there. So good call there from the Sauber boys, very close call, but they have got Darren out ahead of Hamilton, which is crucial for him. So Hamilton then will have to make overtakes then on Sinclair and also Spaghetti then to get up into P1 spot. But at the moment though, Siege is up there though, still yet to make a pit stop, extending his soft tyre run to as much as he can. But he is in hot pursuit though of Spaghetti, not far up the road. He has just lapped C3 there, so there's one less traffic out on the road to worry about. Meanwhile though, turning attentions back to P3 then, Hamilton on the back of Sinclair. So Sinclair though on the fresh set of tyres, younger life as well. So Hamilton though eyeing up for a move. Is he going to go for the dive down into the chicane? No, he just got to hang on for the meantime. The C3 sets the fastest lap time of 1:30.8 then, so C3 still pumping in the lap times despite being in last. And Siege then goes into the pits. Meanwhile though, we're still focused on the battle here. Hamilton going down the outside of turn 1. Can he make it stick? Yes, he does. And Darren then has to pull out that move, otherwise it would have been a nasty contact there. But Hamilton then up into P2 then on the move on Sinclair. Sinclair just had to settle for P3. Meanwhile though, Struth in the pits, and he just comes out behind his teammate then. So Mercedes boys start on the same grid together, and on the same bit of track as well, so very hard to separate them two. Reminds me of the days of Maze and Galt with teammates for the Mercedes, and very hard to separate from each other. Meanwhile though, Hamilton and Sinclair also not separating from each other. Different teams obviously, but they're still being glued together in terms of battling. Spaghetti then only 1.5 seconds up the road, and obviously Hamilton and Sinclair are still pumping in quicker lap times in constant pace to catch up as well. So this could be ending up into a three-way battle for P1. Is looking very good as well for this for these three. Could be going into an interesting climax heading towards the end of the race if it carries on like this. Hamilton though now under the 1 second window, but is it enough to get DRS from Spaghetti? We'll find out. He does get DRS though, so he was within the 1 second window of the detection point. So he's got a bit of defence now down the main straight from Sinclair. But still though, they're both still catching up to Spaghetti though. Spaghetti still maintaining P1. Not phased or not bother what's going on behind him. He's just focusing what's going on ahead of him. which is the best way to look for it in Formula 1 terms. Always focus ahead generally. Meanwhile though, Siege and Rapid more likely exchange positions, or maybe Rapid then make a mistake, but he's lost out to his teammate, but luckily not lost out to any more positions. So Siege then up into P5, Rapid down into P6. Just a case of a driver switch around maybe, I don't know, or maybe miss something off on stream. Again though, these two are still dueling out, still keeping the same amount gaps between each other, not really changing. And they still changes down Spaghetti, he's just still in sight as well. Although Dan will be again thinking of where can he take Hamilton. Where can he take Hamilton around this track and where his weakness spots are. But he's still within a second though, so he will get the arrest though from Hamilton. Although if Hamilton does make a mistake, Sinclair will just pounce on him. Meanwhile though, C3 though just keeping out of the way then of the map markers, which he does nicely there. So C3 though keeping out of the way of the top three. So now it's all head on for battle for P1 to the end. Meanwhile though, there is the other flag in sector 3, now it's Rapid then. So what's happened to Rapid then? Rapid is also out the race. So where did he lose it? So where did he lose it? We will go and bother plaster and trying to find out where did Rapid lose it. Was it round 130R? No, it's not round 130R. Around the chicane area. Not around there. Oh, he's lost it. He's lost it into the pit lane entrance barrier there. So Rapid then making contact then to the entrance of the pit lane maybe, or just got a bit too close when he was keeping the shorter line. So that is unfortunate for Rapid. He was doing reasonably well around here today, and to lose out to hitting the wall is just hard luck unfortunately. Still though, still 9 left in the race though. Still got a massive battle going on here from the front, at least for the top spot on the podium. It's like Hamilton's chasing down Spaghetti, Darren's chasing down the pair of them. Again, they're still reasonably close. Darren's now got DRS, although DRS is not effective around this track. It's only just one zone, so it was all pretty much down to aero setups around Japan, getting as much speed as you can around the corners as well as the straights. And obviously going through the S's is absolutely brilliant. It just flows if you get the line absolutely perfectly hooked up. Darren having a little bit of wobble there on around Dunlop there, but kept it under control. Getting still 7 tenths off Hamilton though. Hamilton still in pursuit of Spaghetti. Gap's not really much changed. Hamilton there with a lock up there into a hairpin. Just a bit of a sniff there for Darren then to get even closer, but Hamilton gets away with it as well. So as of lap 16 then, so we've got Spaghetti, Hamilton, Sinclair 1, 2, 3, Struth in P4, Siege in P5, Mays in P6, Plasto P7, Allen in P8, and C3 in P9 there, who's a lap down. And obviously 3 retirements then are Rapid, SJ Mellor and Maximus. So the top 3 then, within a second of each other, and pretty much maintaining that stability. 11 laps to go though. Spaghetti then leading from the front and still maintaining that, not feeling threatened whatsoever yet. But Hamilton though starting to place down a challenge to him, although there is clouds starting to loom a little bit around the circuit there. Don't know if it's a case of an overcast maybe, or an unexpected rain, I do not know. Meanwhile though, there is a yellow flag in sector 1 which happily disappears very quickly. But Spaghetti now though knows that Hamilton is within a second of him at the moment. You'll see that Red Bull filling up his mirrors from McLaren, but not letting the Red Bull put him off whatsoever, not making him a single mistake so far. Darren Sinclair there just slightly dropping back a little bit from these two. Maybe just bridging the gap a little. Meanwhile though, got a battle of another teammates here. It's the two Ferrari boys of Plasto and Alan then. Battle for P7 and P8 then. Now, don't know if they were just going to be team ordering this or they're going to go out for a full on battle. They're both on different sets of compounds. Plaster on the harder set to Alan's softer set. But Alan though, looking for a mover past his teammate. Plaster then literally pulling away as much as he can from his teammate. Alan looking the more quicker of the two Ferraris. Heading up towards Spoon. Alan looking for a move around Spoon, but has to settle in for now behind Plaster. Plaster then still keeping going. Still not letting his teammate put him off. Looking for a move down, heading down towards 130R. Alan lining up an overtake for him. Where's he going to go? He's going to go down the inside there. Plaster then knowing that Alan's on his inside then. Side by side from 130R there. Plaster had to take it to the off the track here. Comes back on in front of Alan though. But it's still going side by side around the chicane there. And Plaster there sets the feet there. Lets Alan takes P7 then. Although Plaster looking to come back on him. They both haven't got DRS of each other. It's just a case of a straight drag strip down into P1, 10-1. Plaster then maintains P7 then. Alan just had to settle for P2. Not P2, sorry, P8 into turn 2. But the two Ferrari boys though, putting on a display of a battle in between each two. They both have great respect for each other, so they both know what they're doing. And Alan then loses it. And no, Alan K's out of the race. Alan lost it through the S's. And that's put a dent in his confidence there. And Alan is out of the race there, battling with his teammate. Both pushing it. And obviously Alan are losing his back end and got claimed by the wall. So Alan will be not too happy with that whatsoever. But has drawn out a virtual safety car then. And Struth there, with the virtual safety car, is picking the perfect time then to come into the pits then. But the thing is, everyone else as well will be set to a delta time, but it's up to them if they want to make a pit stop under the virtual safety car. No loss gained or time loss. Mays has also opted to go for the pit stop as well under the virtual, so Struth and Mays then going for a fresh set of boots. So we'll be down to 8 runners in. So Mays then going on a set of super softs. Struth out and set of softs. Virtual safety car is now ended. And gaps there has remained across the field then to everybody then. Hamilton lost out a little bit of time after the virtual safety car restart. He was within under a second of Spaghetti, but now on 1.2 behind Spaghetti. So Spaghetti then has gone south of backer, a little buffer from DRS threat, so which is what he wanted. Darren though has lost out to quite a bit of time here to the two guys up front. Maybe just a case of settling into P3 and just getting the car home. Siege down in P4 though, having a good start so far, keeping himself out of trouble. A little bit away, far away from the guys in front though, but you'll be happy to take P4 unless any more mistakes or any safety car that comes out on track. Generally though, the main focus point of the battles so far is the battle for P1 between Spaghetti and Hamilton. Also would have been Sinclair, but he has dropped back a bit, nearly 4 seconds behind Hamilton. So Hamilton then on the charge. He has got a few laps left remaining in order to go for attempt to go for P1 on Spaghetti. But Spaghetti though so far leading it from start to finish, especially after the pit stops. No faults whatsoever, and he's driving a masterclass for McLaren, especially powered by Honda. So Spaghetti then showing absolute amazing credentials. Meanwhile, though, C3 still pumping in the fastest lap time there with a 1:30.7, despite being a lap down. So C3 just pumping in, getting the fastest lap award of the day, maybe. Time will tell, unless anyone else goes for a faster lap time. Hamilton then again starting to drop back a bit more. 1.5 now behind Spaghetti then, so Spaghetti's just hitting his marks constantly. Maybe Hamilton then maybe just pushing or leaning a bit too much on his tyres, maybe bending them out a little bit more quicker. But then again, he's still within turbulent air though of Spaghetti going around certain corners. Meanwhile though, Struth sets the fastest lap on 1:30.1 then. So Struth then sets the fastest lap time, then taking that award away from C3 so far. Again, not very much battles going on at the moment, just the main battle here for P1 at the moment between between Spaghetti and Hamilton. And lovely error shot here, going around spoon curve here, absolutely brilliant. Get one round 130R, if we can maintain this camera, it'll be great. Obviously Spaghetti then, and the camera shot's ended. I was hoping to get moved down into 130R with the camera shot, but still, can't rely on Cody's forever. Anyway, carry on as normal. Hamilton then slowly catching up here to Spaghetti, but see what will happen. Gap still fluctuating, it's still kind of stabilising between them two, at least at the moment. Maybe he's like Hamilton's starting to find a bit more pace in certain areas and losing out in others. But again though, Spaghetti though, still pumping in good lap times as well though. And again, car looks so much stable. Although Hamilton there, you can just see him in the mirrors on the left there, just creeping in a little. Again though, it's Spaghetti though, just maintaining good car control. Not really having any problems at all. Not even pushing this car or going aggressive into certain corners. Again, just perfectly handled. That's what you need around Japan. Perfect car control and stability, and it'll get you to the end of the race. So lap 22 and lap 27, which will become lap 23 in a minute. 1.2 separates the top two. Hamilton though still pushing on. Spaghetti then still not feeling pressured. Hamilton looks like he's starting to charge in a little bit more. He is closing the gap down more this time round on Spaghetti. Maybe just a case of saving fuel a little bit and saving energy deployment and just using it at the right time. But lap 23 now, starting to come down the gap very quickly here. It's half a second now. Hamilton now on the back of Spaghetti then, so Spaghetti then having it comfortably his own way so far, is now on the threat then from the Hamilton behind. Meanwhile though, there was a yellow flag in sector 1, but that's gone away nicely. So Hamilton now on the back of Spaghetti, although the more he gets to the back of him, the more he's going to get filled by that dirty hot air coming off the back of Spaghetti and hampering his tyres a little bit, which you don't want, especially the tyres that old as well. So Spaghetti and starting to lose the back end a little bit. Maybe that's a sign of the medium starting just to worn away a little. But it is coming towards the end of the race with light fuel load, so cars will start to be more quickly and agile and quicker at the same time, but easy prone for mistakes, especially on older set of boots. But Hamilton though is starting to gain back on him again, especially down the main straight through 130R. Again, he will have DRS. Now Hamilton's in prime position. He needs to get a good exit out of here, which he has. Now heading up towards the line. He will have DRS, but is he close enough to go for a threat down into turn 1? It'll be very close here. He's going for it, getting closer to him. Not at the moment. He just has to again settle behind Spaghetti then. So 3 laps to go then, and it's starting to tension up again towards the front. This time it's for the top spot. Spaghetti then doing amazingly well so far, not to be put off by Hamilton, not letting him have any sniff of opportunity, and just keeping his car where he wants it on his line. Again, Hamilton though is maintaining a gap of half a second and keeping well within reach of attack range. Going around the hairpin now. Hamilton's now think of eyeing the move, but it's a little bit too far back to do it in spoon. Gets a good line through here, especially on the exit. He might tack it down 130R. Spaghetti then goes off a bit wide. That is one mistake so far already. Hamilton's noticed it and he's going for it. He's getting right close for it. He's going for the move. He's going to make the move down 130R. Hamilton then takes the lead. Spaghetti then goes off wide on the track. Comes back on again side by side. Spaghetti then takes P1 back and maintains P1. Although he will be now under threat by Hamilton this time with DRS. Spaghetti then gives back the position to Hamilton. Maybe because of the going off track and gaining an advantage off track. So, but Hamilton then with DRS then is taking P1 with 2 laps to go. Spaghetti though is not giving up whatsoever on Hamilton. So Hamilton then takes P1. Spaghetti right behind him. He's looking to get the move back on him. With 2 laps to go, not much to do so. So Hamilton then will have to quickly try and pull away as much as he can. He's already got half a second window on him already. But obviously with the tyres being oiled, he'll lose a bit of performance already. Hamilton then is starting to pull away again. Spaghetti's got to keep close as much as he can to get back P1. At the moment though, Darren is 4.5 seconds behind these two. So if these two keep squabbling out for at least a couple more laps, Darren might even have a chance to be in this battle as well. Come around the exit spoon. Spaghetti then just a little bit behind. Although they have got a back marker ahead though. The crucial is whereabouts are they going to meet this back marker. There is the other flag in sector 1 and sector 2. Now back into sector 2 there's the other flag. But hopefully that should disappear, which it does. So lap 26 then. Hamilton in P1, Spaghetti in P2, and that is a lap car ahead of Plaster then. So they are catching up to Plaster to be lapped. Hamilton there goes off wide on the exit, turn 1, but not to compromise into turn 2. And going through the S's at the moment. Hamilton then trying to pull away as much as he can. Spaghetti still maintaining at the back. Plaster's just up the road as well, so Hamilton is catching up into traffic. Not ideally what he wants, especially in a battle like this. But with Plaster there, he'll generally pull out the way as much as he can. So Hamilton now almost a second clear of Spaghetti. With a little cheeky look up there from Hamilton as well. Spaghetti they're still trying to pressure on as much as he can and try and close down on Hamilton. 8 tenths separates it so far. Lap 26 or 27. So there we go. Hamilton there P1 plus Spaghetti in P2. They are chasing up to Plaster here. Plaster there with the blue flag warnings now, so Plaster's got one of a few attempts there to keep out of the way of the leading pair. Although no matter what position you in, you'll get DRS if you're within 1 second of the car ahead. Obviously their Plaster there keeps nicely out the way there, not to compromise the battle there for P1. Although he has gifted Hamilton there on the final lap DRS range to pull away as much as he can. So Spaghetti here has got all to do from now. He's got to find some time or advantage on Hamilton to take P1 off Hamilton. But Spaghetti here, he hasn't got much left to do. Only many of corners left. Unless Hamilton makes one bad crucial mistake here. Providing commentator's curse here, which I'm not planting the curse here. But going through the last thickness for the last time here, still separated by at least 7.5 tenths. Hamilton will be trying to pull away as much as he can. Getting a bit of the last lock up here in the hairpin for the last time. Spaghetti then with literally 6 tenths off Hamilton. He is closing in the gap as much as he can. I bet those boys will be putting up to full mixture as much as he can. C3 with a 1:30.0 for the fastest lap time. Surely that'll be plasters there for sure. But we're still maintaining this battle here for P1 here. Who is going to take P1 out of Hamilton and Spaghetti here, providing none of them have got any penalties. But come 1:30 for the last time then. Hamilton set to be on course to take P1 off the Japanese Grand Prix. He is in hot pursuit here of Spaghetti here. Hamilton for the last time comes over the line and takes P1 then. So Hamilton then takes P1 and Spaghetti then takes P2. So Hamilton is the victor then of the Japanese Grand Prix. Spaghetti there with an amazing drive there, leading it from all the way there, takes P2. Darren Sinclair then takes P3. And obviously Plaster there takes P7, being a lap down. Then the next car over the line then will be Siege. He'll take P4 here for Mercedes here. Great drive there from Siege. Struth then will be in the next car to come over the line and will take P5 here. So Sab was there getting a good amount of points here today, which would be ideal for them. So Struth then over the line then takes P5 then with a 5-second penalty there to be unserved. Choose an unserved stop go. And you got Maze there to come on the line as 6, and also their C3 will be the first one over the line as well. Also C3 being a lap down, who'll be finishing in P8. Maze will be finishing in P6 here, so good drive there from Maze. But your race winner though, with a great overtake here within a couple of laps to go though, will be Hamilton. And he still instains his gap at the top. So then your top 3 then. Darren Sinclair in P3 along with Spaghetti there in P2. But your race winner then is Hamilton. What a good race there from everybody there. Battles across the field. And obviously a couple of virtual safety cars there to throw in as well. To throw up a bit of surprises. All keeping it on under control. Only a few retirements though. So the unofficials of the official results then. Hamilton then in P1, Spaghetti P2, Sinclair P3, Siege in P4, Struth in P5, Maze in P6, Plaster in P7, C3 in P8. And obviously that is your main runners. Alan K there retired in P9 and Rapid in P10. They will not claim their points as they retired. SJ Miller there also retired in P11 and Maximus there in P12 then. So put in your comments who you want to be for your driver of the day. Now for my driver of the day, who could I give it to? Who are we going to give it to? I'll give it to Spaghetti there, although he didn't win the race and obviously started from P1 there. You did a good qualifying lap and obviously kept out in front and you know, caused no faults whatsoever. Kept it under control when Hamilton was going for an attack on him. And obviously he would have loved to win the race, but he still came home in second though, so it's better than nothing. So Spaghetti there would be my driver of the day. So then, let's see who I can get in to have a word in the box then, who I can get for interviews and so let's have a look, see who I can get in. Just bear with me a couple of seconds. Alright, just waiting now for the drivers then to see if they were coming in for any interviews. Hopefully we'll have some in a minute. And there we go. We got our first victim in for the interview then. The first person will be C3. C3, how are you?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Good, good. So with you qualifying then, not too bad in qualify, but in the race day you did have a good start, but first couple of laps weren't exactly your greatest couple of laps, I should say.
First of all, quality wasn't really that good. I did a big mistake on that lap, so I was a little gutted by that. But I've recently switched over to manual gears and still getting the hang of it. And that's kind of the reason what happened in the race too. In the first lap, I ended on the defensive into the first corner, had to defend into the second corner, the third corner. And after that, I really just never found the rhythm, and I managed to find the rhythm a couple of laps, basically.
Yeah, you did a few times finding the rhythm for it. Obviously creating fastest lap here, and I think you did take the fastest lap as well for the day as well. So that is something to take away from, I suppose. But yeah, no, like I said though, finding the rhythm though, once you got it, you got to maintain it. But
Yeah.
did saw you was it a couple of times around the S's? Is you went off wide on the grass. What happened there?
I was basically, since my race was ruined, I was never going to be unlap myself or anything. So I felt like fifth gear is the gear I'm usually taking through the S's, and I felt like trying a couple of different gears. So I tried fourth and sixth even a couple of times, and so I really played a lot around with gears when I was that far down. So
Was it when you
know, that fastest lap was a struggle because that was my fourth lap on the supers because I basically ruined the other laps.
Oh no. But still, at least you still managed to pull off the fastest lap award of the day, though. So that is something for you to take away around Suzuka, especially if you're going around on the first few times on manual gears, getting used to it still.
Yeah, hope to figure it out soon. I know I can do quick laps with it, but it's consistency with it that I'm struggling with.
Indeed, indeed. So going off to next race then, which will be Circuit of the Americas then. How do you find yourself around that? Obviously now you be on manual gears.
Well, I'll tell you for one that tracks like Japan, USA, those kind of tracks is a big reason for me going to manual gears because I can't handle them. Japan is a little better with manual gears. I'm not sure with USA yet, so I have no idea at all.
I guess you'll be down in the old simulators, getting the old practice going, ready for it for next week then?
Maybe. We'll see.
So if there's a target of positioning for next race then, what would you say would be? Or is it just be a main case of just finish and see where you go?
I really don't care which position I get in the end next race, to be honest. It's just as long as I get better with consistency and figure out the track for one.
Fair play to you there, C3. Good fighting talk there. And thank you for joining me in the box. And we'll see you next week. You're very welcome, mate. Pleasure as always.
It really is.
All is good, my friend. All is good. I will catch you next week.
Definitely.
So then, next person then to be interviewed then will be the race winner then of Hamilton. Hamilton, how are you? Hamilton?
Sorry, I had my mic off.
That's alright, my friend. How are you? You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. Happy birthday first.
Thank you very much. Yes, it was my birthday on Wednesday, by the way, everybody. But yeah, no, I had a good birthday, by the way. And straight back in the box the next day.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, a few
Hope you
beers.
got a lot of gifts.
Oh yeah, I got gifts and a lot of alcohol. Righto, how did your qualifying then? Because you qualifying and you were originally going for P1 originally, and you just lost that to Spaghetti there with his quick lap out of the bag there.
Yeah, it was a good lap by Spag. I think everyone was going for soft, but I wanted to make sure to get pole. In my last attempt, I was like 2 tenths up in the first sector, so then lost it at the end of the first sector. In the fast right-hander, I went wide and invalidated,
Oh
and then
no.
got pipped by Spag. So yeah, I started second. I hoped for a good start, but somehow Sturus, I think, got a flying start.
Yeah,
So
Struth behind you. He got an absolute blinder start, and just literally like once lights out where you go, it's like everyone then putting off greatly from there. And next thing is you just see Struth going down the inside of you into turn 1, turn 2.
yeah, he went straight into the inside into first corner, and I was little bit pushed wide. Uh, so thankfully I was third, and thankfully Sinclair didn't, insist. So I lost luck quite some times behind Sturus because I passed him, then he managed to pass me. So Spag had a little bit of a buffer, like 4 seconds in front. So yeah,
Indeed.
I was racing my heart out.
Yeah, we did like we did like Sword because obviously obviously at the start like Struth and yourself were like battling each other. Obviously you created a gap there for Spag, and obviously they Sinclair also behind you as well, putting pressure on.
Yeah, Sinclair was putting a lot of pressure, and he was on the soft tire. So at the end of my stint, my tires were going off, and he was putting pressure on me. So that was not ideal. And Spag was like 3-4 seconds ahead. So yeah, I was driving as fast as I could. I was little bit, annoyed that Struess, although it was in his right, but from my point of view, I was a little bit annoyed that I was losing time. And then on the medium, the pace was so good. Actually, I don't know how Sinclair has finished like 6-7 seconds behind because he was on fracture mediums, and he went out of the pits in front of me. So yeah.
Yeah, no, Darren did like manage to jump you on the pit stops to start off with, but you did manage to overtake him back though. Obviously,
Yeah, it was,
and next it is like once you overtook him, it's like you had to chase that to Spaghetti as much as you can. Obviously, left it near close to the end.
and it was a great finish at the end, like 1 lap or 2 laps before the end. I overtook Spag for the lead, so I think it was a good race to watch.
Oh, indeed, it was very good and watch between you and Spag, especially near the end. At one point, though, you were like dropping a bit of time to him, like maintaining like a gap between at least like 1.5 seconds. Then I think in the space of half the lap, you managed to close that down to literally like 3 tenths. Were you like saving your energy deployment and your fuel at the same time, using it at the right point of the race, or were you just like managing it all together?
Yeah, I was. First, he was fast, and very consistent. He didn't do any mistakes. So yeah, before the last virtual safety car, it was like under 1 second, and then after the virtual safety car, he then pulled away like 3-4 tenths, and he maintained it for like 2-3 laps. But I was seeing him in front, and I didn't see too much that the red light was flashing. So I think he was running high earth whilst I was saving little bit. So then in the matter, like you said, 1 or 2 laps, I managed to bring the gap down to half a second and really have a go. And yeah, we had great respects. You know, it's great to see between me and Spag and Sinclair. So we leave each other space. So it's really a joy to have wheel to wheel with these guys.
Indeed, and obviously, you caught up to Spag and obviously overtook him. But obviously, Spag was closing up to you as well to try and come back on the last lap, but wasn't that much in it. And obviously, coming over the line about half a second to 1.5.
1 second.
Yeah, it was 1 second.
Half, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think he deserved also to win. He did a great race, Spag. GG for him for coming second. A very strong race by him, and he's really evolving, you know.
Indeed, great stuff there from you and Spag. So then, heading it off to Circuit of the Americas next Friday then, potentially your World Championship title. Pressure's on.
Now.
Your gap.
I don't want to sing.
You got literally like a gap. All you got to do is just maintain at least finishing in the points, i.e., say about 6th or 7th is the minimum, and you guarantee your title.
Well, that's great to hear, but I'm gonna think only about the race because I don't want to get distracted, and we'll see after the race. Don't want to think about celebration before.
I know, but I just thought I'd throw it in there, see what other mountain pressures I can throw at you, especially with you're going to be pretty much eyes on for next week's race though, because there'll be pressures on you.
Well, it's a shame, you know, Spike is not coming up, it's not showing up, but still drivers showing up like Spag, like CG, and I think he's the reigning champion, CG. So
he is. So
yeah, it's a big privilege, you know, to win TTFL, one of TTG Esports series. So yeah, I'm going to be very proud. But let's finish the race first.
We'll see what we do. I'm presuming no need to ask you where you want to predict you want to finish because you want to win it.
Yeah, I'm gonna win it. I want to win it, but you know, I want to finish the race, and yeah, that's the main target. It's been a tough season, a long season, you know.
It is.
Full calendar, so.
It's very tough and going, but it's worth it at the end.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us anyway, Hamilton. Great win out there today.
Thank you, Saf. You're doing a great job as always.
Cheers, buddy. I'll just do the best as I can.
Okay.
No worries, buddy.
Later.
We'll see you next week, buddy. See you soon.
Okay. See you. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye. So then, Hamilton then wins the Japanese Grand Prix by at least a second then to Spaghetti Chips then, and obviously Darren Sinclair coming over in P3. So that is the Japanese Grand Prix done and over with. So next Friday then will potentially be World Drivers' Championship decided then for Hamilton if he can score the points he needs to win the title for the Drivers' Championship for Season 3. But for the meantime, though, we're going through all the timings and roundings of next races all coming up then. Starting off with this Sunday, we have got the German Grand Prix on Sunday at 8 PM, and obviously 8:45 for the Classic Cup for the TTL F2, commentated by Nexus Jack. So tune in to him on this Sunday from 8 PM, and you'll be in for a good treat of 2 races then. For Tuesday, we'll be live with Kieran, and he will be hopefully be in the box with Andy. If not, it will be just Kieran, and we'll be live at the Hungaroring. So I hope you can all join us there at 8 PM on Tuesday. I think we might have a little special treat coming through in the middle of the week. I'm just trying to track through quickly, just to make sure. No, we haven't got nothing special through in the middle of the week on Wednesday. So going on to Thursday, we'll be Kieran and Andy for the Belgian Grand Prix on Thursday at 8 PM. So I hope you can join them as well on Tuesday and Thursday. For next Friday, for the TTFL, we'll be live at 8 PM as always, and we'll be at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin for potentially Hamilton's first world title to be sealed up, and also for another great amazing race in Americas. So then, thank you very much for joining me for tonight for the Japanese Grand Prix. I hope you all enjoy it. It's been a pleasure as always doing the comms for you guys and keeping you all up to date and entertaining. And I will see you all next week at 8 PM Friday. Do not miss it. Take care, guys. Bye bye.